So that's.
I'd like to toss in here a little historical note that the origins of modern computing actually go back to this problem of errors. In the early 1800s, in fact, before that, the British Admiralty published nautical tables, which were essentially latitude, longitude coordinates of important places. But of course, these were numbers and people made mistakes and there were errors. And so they had to issue errors to repair the mistakes in the first edition. And then there were errors on the errors, and they got to multiple levels. And there was a young man named Charles Babbage who was assigned to help work on these corrections. And he said, I wish these could be carried out by steam. And that led to his later ideas about the analytical engine and the differential analyzer. Differential analyzer came first, and neither was completed during his lifetime, but during the 1990s and early 2000s, they were reconstructed in London and shown that they work. And so Charles Babbage has really got started in his interest in computing of the problem of fixing errors. Interestingly, he had another little contribution to humanity. He invented the cowcatcher on locomotives.
I have a second connection with that, which is that the Royal Greenwich Observatory, which is no longer in Greenwich, by the way, but it's still called the Royal Greenwich Observatory, publishes a nautical almanac, and one of the members of the UK Tech User Group, Catherine Hernkirk, was responsible for had a large degree of technical responsibility for that. So the almanac is astronomical tables. So there are two big methods for determining longitude. Longitude is the hard thing to determine. The one method is to have an accurate clock, which John Harrison produced. And the other method is to use astronomical tables and astronomical sightings, which depend upon the weather being not cloudy, for example. And that was a large part of the importance of those nautical tables. The 18th century, Britain being an island and a sea power became really important in the 18th century. And that was, if you like, part of the motivation for Britain having resources for solving the problem of longitude, because it was a military secret, if you like, just like GPS is a military resource. So having chronometers on your clock is
and the Astronomer Royal is still officially part of the royal household, right?
I wouldn't be surprised at that.
Yeah, I think he still gets £100 a year.
Well, he's doing well, because there was somebody who appeared at Prince Philip's funeral who hadn't had a pay rise for about 200 years, and he got £47, and he was a sort of master of arms or what's heraldry. So yes, some of these royal posts are more in honour than anything else. I think Poet Laureate. But so these tables are really important stuff. And what I found interesting, one of the things I found interesting was that Babbage saw one of the applications as computing tables of logarithms, because you couldn't possibly put a difference engine in somebody's office. But if they had to do multiplications, they could do it with logarithms, and by golly, you could give them an accurate collection of logarithms. So I thought that was really interesting. I went to the Science Museum and I saw some old computers, one of which was made by Elliott Automation, who Tony Hoare worked for. Tony Hoare had some success and failures with Elliott Automation. And I also discovered that there was an instrument maker in the same gallery. Prudential Insurance had a sort of mechanical calculator for life insurance rates or something like that. And this mechanical calculator, so analog mechanical calculator, I remember, was made by a company, one of whose partners was Elliott, as in Elliott Automation. So certainly from that sort of prudential assurance through the early computers in the 50s and then through Tony Hall, we come through to our generation. So as tech community, we have roots in mathematics and in computing, and also in publishing and knowledge management and that sort of stuff. And the publishing and knowledge management really puts us into the humanities, if you like, in a way that the other things don't. It's almost poetry, isn't it, typesetting?